You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Do horses have equine soulmates? Don't answer until you listen to this episode of Barn Stories.
Welcome to the Barn Stories podcast. I'm Lori Prinz, editor of Equus Magazine.
And I'm managing editor Christine Barakat.
This podcast features our favorite essays and articles published in Equus over the past 40 years. Although Equus is known for articles on horse care and veterinary research, our editorial mission has always been guided by the bond that exists between horses and people. And each issue has featured a real-life story that celebrates how horses enrich our lives and touch our hearts.
We've searched our archives, chosen the stories that resonated with our readers, and given them new life in this audio format. Longtime subscribers may recognize some of their favorite pieces. And if you're new to the Equus community, these stories will confirm that no matter what sort of saddle you sit in, a deep emotional connection to horses is something we all share.
This is another best of episode of Barn Stories, in which we revisit essays that resonated with us and our listeners. This particular story first aired back in 2021, but was so touching and well told that when I unearthed the audio file again last week, both Lori and I immediately recalled not only the names of the horses involved, but their breed and color.
This essay reminds us of how important it is to approach life with an open heart. Its depiction of the bond that developed between Bodie and Mouse affirms the many ways that horses enrich our lives. This is a bittersweet story, though, so you may want to have a tissue handy.
Let's listen to Love Story, written by Jane Palmer and read by Taylor Autumn.
I don't know why some people refuse to believe that animals have emotions and form deep attachments to others. I've witnessed this phenomenon firsthand in my own animals many times over the years. I know they experience real love and consequently miss their friends and mates when they are separated. One of the best examples of this was Bodie and Mouse. It started when my husband, Nate, suggested I get another horse. Our finances were tight, so I couldn't just go buy one. Plus, I wasn't sure I was ready to open my heart again. I was still mourning Bobo, the Morgan gelding I'd owned for 26 years. When Bobo died, I felt like I'd been cut loose from my anchor and was adrift in sadness and loss. I stayed away from horses for 5 years, but Nate recognized that I was missing more than just my horse. I had lost a lifestyle. I started perusing Craigslist for free or very cheap horses, and soon I found a post that piqued my interest. It described a small, black, old-style Morgan who was rock solid and sound. He was purported to be around 14 years old, so I arranged to take a look. It was not love at first sight. He was pretty enough and responsive to cues, but overall he seemed dull and aloof. His owner assured me the gelding would be content to be alone on our farm. He had been a rescue before she got him, and she said he hated other horses. After the gelding's soundness was confirmed in a veterinary check, I bought him. I really can't explain why. I just had a feeling. The name he came with didn't fit him. This guy seemed to have a good heart and a desire to please, but also a degree of distrust. When I looked at him, I saw a story that I would never know. He had a smattering of white hairs that swirled like a galaxy on his forehead, so I named him Bode's Galaxy, after a galaxy far, far away. Bodie for short. It seemed more fitting for a horse who always seemed so far away. Bodie and I got along well, but there was something about him. Something he exuded, a sadness or a melancholy. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. The veterinarian said he was healthy, but Bodie was just not very happy. At times I would look out and see him standing in the field with the look of indifference about him. The following spring, I stumbled across another ad on Craigslist. There was a photo of a little black mare with her owner sitting on her back and a beagle in her lap. I was smitten. The mare was free and she was close by, so I called and went to see her. Mouse was the same size as Bodie, around 14.1, but with more of a petite build. She had gnarly knees and was a little reluctant, but I liked her owner and decided to give her a try. Mouse had had laminitis in the past, but checked out to be sound and healthy. Given what I'd been told about Bodhi, I expected fireworks when I brought Mouse home. But I couldn't have been more amazed at the reaction I got.
For first-time horse owners and new riders just starting out, finding the information and support you need can be challenging. That's why Equine Network has partnered with Sentinel Horse Feed and Absorbing to bring you My New Horse, a place where equestrians just getting into horse ownership or riding will find the resources and community they need at precisely their stage of the equine journey. From important horsekeeping information and how-to videos to social media communities, exclusive experiences, and more, My New Horse is your one-stop shop for riders of all levels and disciplines who are eager to find easy-to-understand horse care information and guidance. Start your horse ownership journey today. Visit mynewhorse.com.
The memory still brings tears to my eyes. My melancholy boy was suddenly full of joy. He arched his neck, pranced and nickered, and blew in Mouse's nostrils. It was as if they had longed for each other for years. I ran in to get my camera, and when I got back, the two of them were standing, side by side, munching hay in the double stall with their heads over the wall. As they settled into life together, never once did I hear a squeal or see a strike or even an ear laid back. Just pure joy. Bodhi was a new horse. The indifference was gone, and he happily took on the role of protector of his herd of two. Mouse settled in as if she'd always belonged here, and followed Bodhi's cues as if trained to do so. Nate, who had never been a rider, was so impressed and at ease around the two horses that he became interested in riding Mouse. The little mare was calm and steady on the trail, and she quickly earned Nate's trust. Bodhi usually led on our trail rides, but there were times when he would stop, unsure of a scary object or an unfamiliar area. Then Mouse would trudge ahead, as if to reassure her mate that she had his back as well. We had 2 lovely summers of harmony and bliss in the barn and on the trails. We developed a routine where the 4 of us would take short rides to the back of our property and canter around a hayfield. The horses were so in tune with each other, it was as if Nate and I were just along for the ride. Our dream ended one morning when Bodhi colicked. The veterinarian came, and we spent a very long day and into the evening trying to ease his pain. When it was clear our efforts were not going to work, we decided to mortgage the farm if we had to, and we loaded Bodhi up into a borrowed trailer and drove him to a large animal hospital about an hour away. Things did not go well, and by the next morning we had to make the difficult decision to end his pain. The veterinarian told us that Bodhi was probably a lot older than we'd thought, but then 14 had never been more than a fair guess. Bodhi had nickered quietly to Mouse as he walked into the trailer, leaving her forever, and she whinnied loudly in return. Perhaps they knew it was the last time they would see each other. Perhaps they didn't. Either way, life on the farm took an abrupt turn, and grief settled over all of us. We still have Mouse. She has a new pasture mate now, another Morgan gelding, but there is no affection between them. Their relationship is one of tolerance and routine, not love. Now Mouse has that melancholy air about her, the same one that Bodhi had when he first arrived. I wish their relationship had lasted longer, but I am grateful for the time that Bodhi and Mouse had together. And I am also glad that Bodhi had a few good years of peace and happiness at the end of his long life. He was a good soul who seemed to want nothing more than to have a mate to take care of and cherish. I am glad he finally got what he deserved, at least for a little while.
Thanks for listening to Barn Stories. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a favorite article or essay from the Equus archives that you'd like us to feature in a future podcast, let us know. You can reach us at equusbarnstories, all one word, @gmail.com.
Did you enjoy this episode of Barn Stories? Head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review.
Thanks for listening. The Barn Stories podcast is a production of the Equine Podcast Network, an entity of the Equine Network.